I wanna climb, climb, climb to a higher ground. I wanna climb, climb, climb to a higher ground. Scaling Jacob's ladder step by step. That old devil loves to see me, slip.
Back in time, Glasgow in the west and Edinburgh in the east were joined by two canal systems with a myriad of locks. Modernisation meant the decline of the system, which was allowed to decay. In 2000 it was decided to restore the waterway for pleasure craft, and submissions were called for as part of the Millennium Project. The result was the Falkirk Wheel, designed by Tony Kettle, which remains the only one of its kind in the world. This engineering masterpiece replaced all of the additional locks that would have been needed to lift the boats some 25 metres around the town of Falkirk. The proof of concept utilised his daughter's Lego set, so it would be true to say that the Danes came to the rescue yet again. The idea is based on two buckets filled with water, large enough to accommodate canal boats, one at the top of the wheel and one at the bottom. Because of Archimedes' principle, the weight of these is the same and constant, so all you need is a series of cogs and gears and an electric nudge to get the device into freefall. The top bucket arrives at the bottom and the bottom at the top, and the boats sail on their merry way. The tourist boats used were the Antonin and the Archimedes, and 50 of us were crammed into the former for our ride to the top. This really is a unique example of Scottish ingenuity, and they are justifiably proud of this very popular tourist attraction, which brings in lots and lots of loot to the area.
You are on a Disney boat. Nothing to do with Walt Disney, it just means it doesn't sink. Okay? So any of you had worries about it sinking out in the middle of the ocean, it's not going to happen. We're on the canal. The water's only 5 feet deep. With this complement of passengers on the boat, you'll be lucky if there's 300 millimetres of water under the boat during the journey. And you can confirm that by looking at the height of the big door up there. We've got a draft of about 1.5 metres. The water's about 1.5 metres. I know for a fact if you fall in, it comes up to there when you're my height, okay? So, yes, if it does rest on the bottom of the canal, you will require wellies, or you will require to lift your feet. Okay? If you brought your wellies with you, it's not an issue. So, when we get to the top, we'll take you for a wee run along the aqueduct. The aqueduct takes you through the tunnel. I noticed your tour guide guy with a hat was talking about taking you up to the wall. You'll see where the wall is because you drive under it as we're going into the tunnel. There's a big green fence. At the moment the trees are in bloom with all the leaves, so it's hard to see. But the Roman Antonine wall is just a big muddy slope with trees growing out of it. And you want to know why that is? That's because Hadrian used up all the bricks in Northumberland. But if you imagine a Roman legionary standing there with his open-toed sandals and his wee short skirt and his open sleeves, standing on the west coast of Scotland in the middle of July, he would be eaten alive by the flies. You must have met the midges by now. Midges in the clegs. Ah, there's a fine legionary of a man. There's no flies on him. Ah, but you can see the marks where they've been. 18 years they were here and the flies drove them out. I'm quite sure of it because there's nothing like the amount of flies down in the Northumberland. I was just down there on my holidays, that's why I know. So there we are. You've been presented with a canal in front of you now. Isn't that as if by magic? It's quite something. We go through the tunnel underneath the Antonine wall. We come out under what's known as the Edinburgh to Glasgow Express Railway line. You'll see the shape of the tunnel change just where the railway is. It's a big concrete block instead of a tunnel shape. Out into the back basin, and there we turn round to let you see a pair of lock gates that take you up onto the Union Canal, and that's the canal, ladies and gentlemen, that takes you all the way into Edinburgh. Now, unfortunately, I can't take you to Edinburgh on this trip. The first reason being it takes 11.5 hours by canal boat to get you to Edinburgh. The second reason is I've only got an hour. The third reason is imagine sitting for 11.5 hours on these seats. It's not happening, is it? And the fourth reason is I'm from Glasgow. I don't do Edinburgh. And if any of you are from Edinburgh, I always get a laugh when I say that, yeah? I don't really mean it. There's a lot good about Edinburgh. The best bit's the Glasgow train. However, something else about being Glaswegian, a Ouija as they like to call us. A stranger in Glasgow is just a friend you have.
Okay, as we're coming towards the end of our time on this level, I just have time to share some of the facts and figures of the Falkirk Wheel. It was opened in May 2002 by Her Majesty the Queen, although she never actually rode it like you have today. There are 15,000 bolts in the structure, pressed into 45,000 bolt holes, and each one was tightened by hand. The two gondolas between them hold 1 million litres of water and can lift the weight of 100 elephants. And it does all that in just 5 minutes, using the power of a few electric kettles. Amazing, isn't it? If you were thinking of getting one for yourself, do be aware that the price tag comes at a whopping £20 million. We're heading back into the gondola now, so that we can rotate back down to the lower level, 25 metres below. This is a great place to take in the view if the Scottish weather has been kind to us.
Climb, climb, climb to a higher ground. I wanna climb, climb, climb to a higher ground. Scaling Jacob's ladder, step by step. But that old devil loves to see me slip.
Perhaps we should leave the last word for the time being to the wheel's designer, Tony Kettle.
The Falkirk Wheel appears to lift its head and take stock of its Scottish surroundings. It stands up proud and bold, emerging from the land as the skeletal frame of a long-lost prehistoric animal. It sits on a spine that connects the east and west coasts of Scotland and says, "Scotland is whole once more." The wheel reverberates with the strength and passion, the vision and the imagination that have underpinned the very best of Scottish culture since the 1700s. And, more importantly, it stands as one monument, celebrating the past, but also what may be possible in the future.
Being in the bucket and doing the circuit doesn't give a good idea of the workings and operation of the wheel. So we sat in the adjoining cafe and enjoyed overpriced. You have to moan about price while in Scotland, coffee and scones, while Lady Litchfield filmed the workings of this engineering masterpiece. This has become a major tourist attraction for the area, and a full visitor centre with the whole 9 yards has been built. And what did I get? The t-shirt, of course. Overpriced, but a good reminder of a great day. After the wheel and bus ride back, we walked into the village of Queen's Ferry, which is really quaint and old-worldy. Here there are 3 bridges crossing the Firth of Forth. The old Forth Rail Bridge, UNESCO Heritage listed, the newer Forth Road Bridge, and its replacement, the Queen's Ferry Crossing. Our guide's submission in the naming competition was the 3rd Forth Bridge to Fife, 345. He didn't win, of course. The main street of Queen's Ferry follows the coastline, and the buildings are mostly constructed from local granite-like stone. It was Friday, and several weddings were on the go in the town. By reputation, the Scots are supposed to be mean, but one couple walked down the main drag to the venue, with their entourage in tow. Not even a bicycle made for two.